When my cooling rack is looking this gorgeous, that means that you have to try out this recipe. So we are going to be making some butter cookies, which are going to turn out very crunchy, soft, and once you bite into the cookies, they're going to melt in your mouth. I love it when the recipe calls for very basic ingredients. So you're going to start off by preheating your oven at 180 degrees Celsius. Then you're going to line a baking tray with parchment paper. So the parchment paper is going to help the cookies not to stick on the tray. So you're going to need 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of icing sugar or powdered sugar, 1 cup margarine or softened butter. I have a teaspoon of vanilla, 1 egg, and half a teaspoon of salt. That's very easy. Yeah. So into your mixing bowl, you're going to be adding in your margarine. Then using a hand mixer over high speed, you're going to whip up the butter for around 30 seconds to a minute. When the margarine is fluffy, it's going to give you very light and airy cookies once you're done baking. So into my mixing bowl, I'm going to be adding in my icing sugar. And because I don't want the icing sugar to fly all over, I'm going to use my spatula and mix in the icing sugar until it's fully combined with the margarine. And once it's a little bit combined, I'm going to go in with my mixer and whip up for around a minute. The powdered sugar is going to sweeten up the cookies, and also using icing sugar is going to give you a very light cookie. So you're going to scrape the bowl to make sure all the icing sugar is fully whipped up together with the margarine. And once done, this is how everything is going to be looking. As you can see, it's very light and fluffy. So the next step is going to be adding in your vanilla essence, which is going to add in a very nice flavor to the cookies. Also, you're going to crack in an egg. Add in salt, which is going to balance the sweetness of the cookies. If you're using fine salt, add in a 1/4 teaspoon. Then I'm going to whip up for around 30 seconds to a minute until the ingredients are fully combined. In between, you're going to scrape the bowl. This is how your batter should be looking. So you're going to add in the last ingredient, which is your flour. So I'm going to add in half. Fold in, and when measuring out the all-purpose flour, make sure it's not packed. Use a spoon to scoop out the flour into your measuring cup so that you can get the right quantity, the right amount of flour. So at this point, you don't need a mixer. You're going to use a spatula and fold in the dry ingredient, that is the all-purpose flour, until a dough is formed, which will be very light. Once done, this is how your cookie dough should be looking. As you can see, it's not firm. So when it comes to the sugar, if you don't have the icing sugar, you can add in caster sugar because it's fine sugar. But if you're going to be using granulated sugar, that is the regular sugar, it's going to give you a hard time piping out the cookies. So next, I'm going to pick a cookie nozzle, and I'm using the star one and a piping bag. Once I'm done, I'm going to pick my baking tray, which is already prepped up. Pick the sides just like this. Then I'm going to shake so that the cookie dough can go all the way down. Once done, you're going to hold the top part of the piping bag, twist until all the butter is on the tip of the nozzle. Then we're going to be making some very awesome pattern to our cookie dough. So you're going to press and twist, making sure they're the same size so that they can bake evenly. Once done piping out the dough, you're going to bake your butter cookies at 180 degrees Celsius for 10 to 12 minutes. Or if you notice a brown ring on the edge of the cookie, it's ready. So oven temperature varies from oven to oven. So you can check after 10 minutes if your cookies are ready so that they don't have that dark color. This is my second round. I've been cooling the first round for around 10 minutes, so they're completely cool. So this is how the cookies look like. So you're going to rest for around a minute on the baking tray, and this is going to make it very easy for you to lift up the cookies and transfer to the cooling rack. As you can see, they have a very awesome, oh, they're very hot. They have a very awesome brownish color on the edges. That means that they're perfectly cooked. I still have a little bit of dough, which I'm going to be baking in the next 1 minute. I'm going to use an offset spatula to lift up the cookies. They're smelling so good and look perfect. This is a very nice, perfect way to make some butter cookies at the comfort of your home, and you'll notice that the cookies are perfectly baked. So once you bite into the cookies, you get a very nice crunch, which is so good. And also they're sweet and delicious. So I hope you'll be giving this recipe a try, and you'll be amazed how these butter cookies are perfect.